Former Summit County lieutenant has filed a whistleblower lawsuit against the sheriff's office.
So he is claiming his supervisors retaliated against him after he tried exposing illegal activity within the department. 19 investigator Mike Mason has the story only on 19.
Worked for Summit County for almost 25 years. I had no disciplinary for the first 24 years of my career.
Charles Mashburn says he never planned to call it quits so soon.
Basically derailed my career.
Mashburn worked for the Summit County Sheriff's Office. He was lieutenant of the jail when he says he was forced to resign last October. This after unsuccessfully trying to report illegal activities to his supervisors. Since then, he has been quietly providing tips to 19 Investigates.
I remained in the shadows.
Mashburn claims his supervisors refused to address his concerns.
I was retaliated against.
He says that's why he filed this whistleblower lawsuit against the Summit County Sheriff's Office. In it, he claims he was subjected to ongoing disciplinary threats, isolation from colleagues, assignment of impossible tasks without proper staffing, and even public humiliation by his supervisors. Mashburn says he documented numerous violations at the jail that put both staff and inmate safety at risk, like when inmates posted bond but would still be kept behind bars because there were no officers around to release them.
So what did your supervisors do when you alerted them about this?
Absolutely nothing.
19 Investigates found state officials documented similar violations. During their inspection last winter, they found the jail using the booking and intake areas to house inmates, officers placing inmate housing units on lockdown due to insufficient staffing. Inmates had no access to phones, TVs, books, or legal counsel, and more importantly, new inmates weren't receiving state-mandated health assessments, and officers were not monitoring inmates who were on suicide watch.
I could no longer maintain my oath and work there.
And that's why Mashburn contacted 19 Investigates.
You are the only one that has brought any of it to the public.
Mashburn told us about an incident involving former Deputy April Woodside and inmate Jordan Schwertner. In October of 2022, officers suspected she was having sex with and smuggling drugs to Schwertner. When deputies shook down his cell, they discovered a package containing white powder.
That month, we had 2 inmates have drug overdoses in the month of October that could be directly correlated with the drugs that were coming in.
That case was closed, but when 19 Investigates began reporting about it last October, 2 years after it happened, records show the sheriff reopened the case and finally sent the items to the crime lab.
After your stories, they confirm it's cocaine. They didn't do it initially, which has never happened, where it just sits on the desk or sits on a shelf for 2 years.
So what do you think about all this?
I think it's a cover-up.
Meanwhile, Mashburn decided to resign and is now taking legal action against his former employer.
What my lawsuit is about, it's not about the money. It's more than that. It's about oversight. It's about reform of this.
Mashburn also filed a complaint with the Department of Justice regarding the handling of the Woodside investigation. In court records, the sheriff's office denied all of Mashburn's allegations. We, of course, requested a comment from Sheriff Fothery, but she hasn't gotten back to us. Mike Mason, 19 News.
Imagine that. The Johnnies suing the Johnnies. Y'all seen that story where ICE locked up a police officer? They said he was an illegal immigrant. I can't remember what county, what city, what state that was in. Johnnies versus the Johnnies, man. This dude was a lieutenant with the sheriff's office, so I mean, one would assume he was doing something wrong, right is wrong and wrong is right with these guys, these cowards, but he didn't rise through those ranks, through their ranks, you know what I mean, their watchful eyes without that happening. So what happened? How did he get all the way to the lieutenant spot and then decide he wanted to start reporting crime? And they didn't fire him, he resigned. So now as I'm making this video, I'm thinking like, logically something else happened here, because it's hard for me to believe he was with them that long. And I don't know, because I don't remember them saying how long he's been an officer, if they did. But you had to be there for a substantial amount of time to rise to the rank of lieutenant. And it's hard for me to believe you were there for however long that was and you didn't see any corruption among your own comrades, family. So what happened when you got to the point that you wanted to start reporting it now? And if I'm being honest, objectively, not knowing what the hell is going on here, I think that's probably what they were more mad at you about, that your ass had been turning a blind eye to it for that duration of time, but now your ass want to play the good cop. Because I feel like if they had something against you, and maybe we'll find out later that you were actually involved in some of the criminal activity, they would be throwing that at your ass instead of just slowly ousting you. Now, I've long since said, I think good cops exist, but they either will be ousted, they will be ostracized until they are forced to leave on their own volition, or they would just quit. And it will be for the same reason, because they cannot put up with the bullshit that goes on in that corrupt organization, that gangbanger organization. And at first, that's what I was thinking. I was like, damn, but I wasn't remembering then that he was a lieutenant. You've been there. And I just want to say it again. I am hard pressed to believe this is the first criminal activity you've seen going on amongst your colleagues. And again, I just think if they had some proof or evidence or even a smidgen of it that you were somehow involved in any of it, you know, during this time, that's what they would be throwing at your ass to get you out of here. And in response to this lawsuit, I don't see any of that happening yet. I haven't heard any reports of it. This is the first I heard this story, albeit. So maybe we'll, like I say, we'll hear that. I know I repeated myself, but I wanted to in that matter, because it's just weird to me why now all of a sudden his ass want to report things and tell what's going on. And maybe it just rose to the level where he said, nah, this is too bad. But you took an oath not for things to get too bad before you speak up and deal with them. You took an oath to deal with these activities at their root. And I ain't, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, like I said again, ain't no way in hell I think that's what you were doing. So maybe this was just a ploy for you the whole time, man. Maybe you run a game, you seen an opportunity, your ass hurry up and resign, and then you file a lawsuit. So, you know, at first I was thinking, damn, this might be a good cop. But nah, bro, I'm seeing more behind the scenes now, more behind the curtains. You guys tell me what you think in the comments. Was he the good cop that just decided, hey, man, this isn't for me because y'all too corrupt and this isn't what we signed up to do? Or did he just, you know, at a point say, I can't take this anymore. This is too much. Not even that I can't take this anymore, but what's going on now is too much. They were saying suicidal, or, you know, I'm gonna call them residents too, because it's guilty until proven innocent. Residents weren't being checked on. People weren't getting access to their lawyers, meaning they're prohibiting their freedom. People weren't getting their time on the phone and their visits. They're not able to speak to family. It's a lot going on there. So did he just say, hey man, this is too much? Or did something else click off where he was like, nah, I was watching it the whole time and not saying anything, but now I'm finna, you know what I mean, start snitching on y'all. What do y'all think happened here? Either way, while he may be exaggerating how they were treating him, it's not hard to believe that it was going on exactly how he said it happened, and worse. Because one thing we know, two things cops hate. One, cameras, and those among their own ranks who will not play the game. So it's not hard for me to believe that they were trying to get rid of his ass, and then they started treating him like an outsider, because that's how he started behaving, even though all of them took oaths to be the type of outsider that he became. For whatever reason, he was motivated to become that. So, but again, we know they don't like lawfulness. That's why anytime auditors show up with cameras on scenes where they're there supposedly to maintain lawfulness, they get mad as hell, because they don't like lawfulness. They want to be able to do something that's illegal, that's unlawful, and it not be documented in a way that they can't control. So the final thing I want to say is, this is Ohio. I don't think anybody should be surprised by that. That may be top 5 lawless states in our country. And, you know, we got to get a rein on Ohio, man. Y'all right there with Arizona with y'all unlawfulness, man. And then the only other state that I can remember right off the top of my head, and it's not even the entire state, it's just one portion of law enforcement up there, and that's Kentucky. So we got Kentucky, Arkansas being the lead, no doubt. We got Ohio running a very, very close second. New Mexico, I haven't forgot about y'all. And then we got Kentucky State Troopers. If you live in any of those areas or have loved ones in any of those areas, tell them, encourage them with the news about what's going on where they live, to know their rights, to teach their children to know their rights, and encourage their loved ones to as well. Because when you live in places like this, you need to know what the hell is going on, because these cockroaches are everywhere, and any of us could run into them at any given time, man. I just wanted to bring y'all this story, and it was going to be shorter than this, but when I got to thinking about it, I was like, hell no, he's a lieutenant, fam. What made you start snitching after all this time? It's a beautiful Thursday, y'all. 11:15. Y'all be good. Holding people after they already paid to get out. Forgot about that part. I thought holding people against their will was a crime. Just not when the government does it, huh? Thank you if you made it this far. If you liked the video, feel free to hit that thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate it. If you care to go a little further than that, maybe even subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check out a few of the other videos on the channel. Either way, y'all be safe.